I think the Kilgroth, for one trick, you got to be a little bit careful. I think you take care of that in that first game. Either take it yourself or ban it out, just because if you lose to that in game 1, that's kind of demoralizing to go into game 2.
It is. Well, we're going to get the ban started right here, right now. It's going to be the Wonder Woman taken away. That one, I don't think that was in. I don't think that was in the notes.
Yeah, it wasn't in the script. I guess they're gonna kind of go away from it, but it's refreshing to see, right? Because Wonder Woman, we talked about it a little bit. She's all around stronger than average, and therefore sometimes she's just left over because she's not that unique in terms of how strong she is. But it's good to see her banned out because now we're gonna see a little bit of a difference in the picks.
I think that some teams, obviously, the best teams will play the best heroes.
Sure.
Will play the best, rotation of the meta of what you need to have. But, we all love video games, and sometimes playing the same strategy over and over does potentially become stale at one point. And so Dino Riders are like, yeah, you know what? Let's get rid of Wonder Woman. We want to play some fun stuff.
Well, and you got to keep in mind that you can't evolve if you don't try new things. And you can't know if they work until you try it in certain matches. And what better way than in this format where you still have a second chance to stay in week to week in that top 6.
Superman being taken off by one trick, Ryoma being taken away. So already the Kilgroth, that one was, we kind of expected that one. But regardless, 3 of these 4 bans are, you can go back and forth on whether or not Ryoma is worth the ban, but regardless, these are a little less conventional than what we're used to seeing.
We talked about it for North America. If you're relying a little bit more on comfort picks, actually, I think it is reasonable to get rid of these quote-unquote more stable heroes, like Ryoma, where you just have to go baseline and you're doing your job.
So now the last 2 picks, or the last 2 bans, rather, are going to be coming in for both Dino Riders as well as one trick. And you've got the Tulin. Obviously, the mages, you can't ignore the power that the mages bring. Tulin being the priority for the side of Dino Riders. Now that leaves the Liliana. It leaves the L'Oreal. And you've got
Max.
You've got a lot of different options.
Teamy going through.
Forgot about the Teamy. If Teamy doesn't get banned here, if Teamy doesn't get banned, is this an automatic first pick for Dino Riders?
I don't know because L'Oreal is left open.
L'Oreal is left open, but
Teamy's so
Teamy is powerful. Now, obviously,
that's tough.
It has to be one of the 2.
The one giving the answers.
I know, right? You're my analyst. I'm here, the one just completely confuzzled, and you're confusing the confuzzler. L'Oreal, Teamy left open. I feel like that has to be one of your 2 picks on blue side.
Yeah.
But the question is, if you pick any of those 2, Max is open as well. I think Max is the 3rd pick, the tertiary behind Teamy and L'Oreal. So with that being said, whichever one you pick, the other 2 will be going into the hands of your enemy.
I think you got to go with the Teamy.
I think so
it's
too.
the utility before the damage kind of notion that is dominant in Arena of Valor so far.
Hey,
there we go.
We did it. We got it correctly. We'll get a high five. You guys can't see it, but there was definitely a high five moment happening. I feel special now.
Max coming in for Dual Spirals. We talked about the success Dual Spirals had last week. Hope to see it again and kind of set a new standard for Max players all around.
One day, we're just going to have an entire segment on good Max versus bad Max and show the world.
And the Mad Max?
And a Mad Max. Okay. So Lubu gets picked up, which throws the L'Oreal actually onto the favor of Dino Riders.
Yeah, and again, I think it's a little bit more focused on utility before damage, because there are other heroes that do a lot of damage, right? Violet's still available, not a mage, but does a lot of damage overall for what she's worth. So I don't know if it'll pan out for them, but I see the reason, and I can side with it.
So now it's going to be the Lumbar. You cannot give the Lumbar over onto Dino Riders, considering the 3 individuals that they have on their roster already. The Zephys comes in. We've seen the Zephys-Lubu combo, very aggressive early game.
Yeah, the only thing, actually, now that I think about it, I'm a little worried on one trick is you gave away the L'Oreal. And if L'Oreal gets the ultimate from Teamy for being a bro, comes back alive, and then continues to heal back up with the passive once again, that's terrifying. You have to delete at least one of them first. No way. We're going to see an Aerie locked in alongside a Zill.
This has been a very different draft here from Dino Riders. They took the Wonder Woman out. They didn't want to have to deal with it. You got split pushing coming out of the Omen. Now, Teamy is great in the sense that he can revive one individual. Being a bro is great, but you can only be a bro to one bro, and there's lots of divers on the side for Dino Riders.
Yeah, I mean, essentially there's 4 bros you want to be with.
Yeah.
Maybe 3 if you say Omen's going to try to split push a little more and do his own thing. But the prioritization for Teamy is going to be a tough decision to make in the heat of the moment.
There are a lot of interesting decisions to be made back and forth, but we're going to make sure that we see if Twitch chat is on the side of our Mr. Chobra himself. One trick with the 79% over the Dino Riders 21. You didn't write that one in the script, Mr. Chobra.
No, but you know what? Dinosaurs are so cool, so I'm going Dino Riders, all right? The ponies can win the tournament, but the Dino Riders will continue to charge forward.
So let's talk a little bit about the side of Dino Riders and that composition. You have lots of different people, lots of different heroes that you can be a bro to. You're literally going to have to go to Teamy's MySpace page and figure out who the top 8 bros are. Because if not, things are going to get iffy. Who does he use that ultimate on, and who does he try to keep alive?
This is a, I think, full-on commitment by Dino Riders of either you're always going to know who to prioritize because others are doing their job getting the kills, or now it's going all the way back on the opposite, and Teamy's going to end up feeling like a crutch pick that you just had to pick up because it was first pick.
He's also one of the only tanks that you have on the team as well. You don't really have any hard tanks. Obviously, you can build a little resilience. L'Oreal, you've got a little kind of HP. Your things are going to help. I don't know. There's a lot to do. There's a lot to dissect, but the best way to dissect it is to getting into the action, and that's exactly what we're going to do. Quarterfinal number 3 starts now.
Yeah, so we talked about the durability a little bit. It's also going to come down, I mean, Dino Riders, if they're microcontrollers. Oh, Teamy runs in, does get the booty boot, but that's 4 people waiting in the bush. He'll walk right back out.
You can't be a bro if no one's going to be a bro for you, as Jordicus is going to have to be forced to back himself off. Always Green, another individual that we haven't talked about too much, has played phenomenal support tanks for his team, as he's going to stop any sort of invade coming out of that Teamy. The Pooty Poot is going to have to be forced to walk away.
Yeah, and, the Teamy, maybe, I mean, if we look at Vengeance, right, on that area, if we look at Yikes on that Zill, if they're using their ultimates correctly and at the perfect times, I mean, that gives Teamy a little bit of an easier time to just sit next to the L'Oreal and make sure that she's able to stay alive throughout the fight. The invincibility frames are going to come in real handy when you're fighting against these warriors such as Lubu or even the assassin-type warrior on Zephys.
As we've seen plenty of times, the Omen versus the Max matchup in the top side of this map, the ultimate decision of when do you use that Max ultimate to go help out versus leaving the Omen to get himself a little bit of a split push, as Jordicus himself is trying to come into the mark. He's going to get a nice little damage. Ahri is going to come in, and Ahri, we haven't seen a single Ahri just yet into the Valor series, and it really is going to be a telltale of whether or not she's going to be able to find some success.
Yeah, I mean, Ahri's a little tough. She's a great assassin, right? She kind of fulfills the assassin stereotype quite well in video games, but that doesn't always mean that she's the best for the job. So we'll see how it pans out. Right now, it looks like it's just going to be a 1-for-1 trade between the Sentinel and the Dragon, which means Dino Riders, not Dragon Riders, coming out on top with that.
Come on now, you're allowed to like the Dinos. We're not bringing Dragons into the mix. That's not fair. That's definitely a little bit of a different era, as now the Dino Riders are not only going to secure themselves that Abyssal Dragon, but they're going to secure First Blood, as Arid is able to pick himself up that kill. The L'Oreal having all the damage in the world. A nice little flicker over. Omen going to try to be able to get himself off. It was a nice little bit of a pull. Lubu is going to go down, but Max wants to join the fight. He's going to be able to pick up that kill onto Jordicus, and he is not done just yet. He's unrelenting, but 3 members versus 1, as ZK barely survives with his life, but a 3-for-1 in favor of Dino Riders.
Yeah, I mean, this was just really good play by Dino Riders. They knew they wanted to commit because they just got that Abyssal Dragon, and I believe when the fight started, 4 of them, maybe 3, were already level 4, so they had their full arsenal. Whereas, I mean, you looked at the side of One Trick, none of them were actually ready at the time the fight started. So Dino Riders, with the right commitment, they knew what advantage they had. They do give away 1 kill on Teamy, but if you drew out the Max's ultimate for that 1 kill and everyone's able to reset, I think that's okay for the Riders.
Only 1,000 gold separates these two teams at just over the 3-minute mark. And the Dino Riders, again, they have a lot to prove. They lost to, the Dino Riders, they did win themselves a corner. Even though it was a bye, they were able to take Allegiance to 3 games. And so they have shown that they have what it takes, but they're going to have to make sure that they have a dominating performance here against One Trick to secure themselves a spot in that semifinals.
Yeah, and again, we talked about it quite a bit. In that 2 to 3 minute mark, usually one team comes out a little ahead in one of these team fights, usually regarding the Dragon. So Dino Riders, can they continue to expand that gold, or will it just remain the same, or maybe even go back in favor of One Trick? ZK.
Oh, I don't think that's where Omen wants to be today. He's not going to be in an advantageous position at all because he will find himself quite near that gray screen as the ultimate gets thrown out by Max. Where does he decide to go? It's right onto the back line of that L'Oreal. She's going to go down immediately. Jordicus is going to pooty-poot his way out because he's barely surviving by the skin of his teeth. Always Green is going to be forced to walk away to the turret as well. Bruticus will go down. That's a double kill into the hands of Zyke, so a 3 for 2 in favor of One Trick.
Yeah, that was a good ultimate coming from Teamy, but it had to be used more for the sake of saving someone, in this case ZK on that Omen, rather than being able to reinitiate. That left Eride a little bit open and wasn't able to take advantage of her ultimate smite either in being able to bounce back and forth. Got caught out, but eventually they're still ahead in kills, but again, the worry's starting to creep up that maybe they can't expand it. Yikes getting caught once again.
Yikes finding himself back to the gray screen, as this has been quite the bloodbath. Almost 10 kills at just under the 5-minute mark. The next Abyssal Dragon is up and available. Dino Riders, remember, took themselves the first one before securing themselves a couple kill, but now it's going to be a little rotation here for the side of One Trick. They're going to float towards the bottom side of the map, although just as I say that, Zelf on that Zephys is going to float towards the top side. Doesn't look like anybody wants to go for that Abyssal Dragon just yet.
Yeah, just keeping vision of it. Always Green, not at full health, but just wanting to make sure that they are aware that the Dragon is there and that Dino Riders aren't starting him. Max does have his ultimate once again now, so they can try to go for this kill first, then fly all the way bottom side for that Dragon.
As Jordicus is going around that map, I'm not too sure how terrifying an umbrella, a closed umbrella would be. Unless it was in the hands of my grandmother, then it would be quite terrifying.
Yeah, grandmothers really know how to get that fear. But here we go, the Dragon's starting to get whittled down, but all of One Trick is here. Max not quite ready just yet for that liftoff.
Bruticus is going to be able to pick up that kill. He does potentially have the opportunity to come down, but instead he decides not to. The Abyssal Dragon goes over into the favor of One Trick, and now they're trying to get themselves a couple extra kills. Bruticus finally comes down. He's able to pick up the kill onto the L'Oreal. Vengeance is almost going to go down. Yes, he does, and just like that, it's a nice little cleanup here by One Trick.
I am so confused on what happened in that top lane. I mean, we're focused here on the Dragon, but we saw Max picking up the kill against ZK, but Max was the one getting pushed against his own tower. I'm wondering if it was a bit of a greedy dive from ZK because we see that Max was so low, and ZK probably felt, if I get the Max kill, our team can win the fight. But it actually happened in reverse, which is a darn shame for Dino Riders.
You also had the executive talent on Bruticus, so there's a potential chance that there was just enough of a low health that he was able to get that last final tick of the kill. Omen maybe not able to get enough life still that he wanted, and we talked about the dual spirals on the Max. Now it's Bruticus on that Max, and he's been doing quite the valiant effort, and not only was he able to pick up the kill, but it was an immediate recognition that his team needed his assistance. Didn't have much. He had less than 15% health, but it was immediate by him to go straight onto the back line and finish off the couple of kills with those low members.
Maybe One Trick's just going to be that team that as a team, they're just a one-trick pony on Max. And anybody can play.
Everyone can play, all 5 members. Where's Max going to go? Let's find out on One Trick Roulette today.
And again, what we're seeing from the Preda is more assists, right? Just getting the burst down early. ZK now just getting dove on. No way out of this one.
ZK has found himself seeing the death screen quite often as he is 1-3-3, suffering quite a bit in gold. There's only 200 gold up on Jordicus, who's playing that, support roam. And now at 7:45, One Trick is so confident. They're trying to go towards that Darkslayer. Who's going to grab it? It's going to go down. Bear's going to be able to pick it up, so that's One Trick having it in their hands. But at what cost are they going to lose in the process? Arid is doing a great job making sure to blink themselves around. It's going to end up being a 2-for-1 in favor of Dino Riders, but Dark Slayer in the hands of One Trick.
Yeah, they still have it on 3 members, so it's still going to get the job done. Vengeance, I like the play. Just committing to saying, listen, we're so behind in objectives, we got to get back in the game. If they get the Dark Slayer and we get to take it off of 2 of them, that's fine. I will start to take some of these towers. And now playing that split push role, we often see Omen try to fulfill, but DK's had a hard time trying to even get out of his own lane.
And so now, with the Dark Slayer buff heavily into the hands of One Trick, they are only up 600 gold. Despite the fact that they've been coming out on a lot of these skirmishes, Dino Riders have been able to claw a couple kills back amongst the fray. Meanwhile, they are able to take themselves their second Abyssal Dragon, float towards the bottom side of the map, always green. They're going to take the Might buff as well. They're going to try to get themselves a nice little skirmish. That's 4 of the 5 members. You see Omen lurking down on the bot side. He wants to be able to help his team. Meanwhile, Max is doing the exact same. Dual spirals on that Prey is able to pick himself up. That first kill of the side for One Trick. Make that 2s to the sides of One Trick, and they are unrelentless. Meanwhile, though, the Aerie is able to pick herself up a kill on the backside. ZK is forced to flicker himself away. Bruticus in the meanwhile. That's a lot of damage coming out of that Max, but it is Dual Spirals that ends up picking up the kill. Ahri is there. Is it going to be enough? The last ultimate is going to come down. And here is Aerie going to try to be able to pick up that kill, and I don't think there's anything Dual Spirals can do. He's going to dodge into that bush, but it's not going to be enough. Double kill for the L'Oreal.
Yeah, Aerie eventually cleans up that fight. It was pretty messy overall just because of how it started, right? It wasn't really an intended fight from either team. Both teams just trying to scout out. They got locked into battle, but the Max coming in, I mean, already has Guy Standard and the Mantle of Ra and building more armor to boot. Was able to survive a little bit, extended 1 foot too far under tower, and that caused the death.
And so now, again, despite the fact that both One Trick and Dino Riders have been finding success in these fights, these skirmishes are ending up very equal. Only 3 kills separate the 2 teams, and gold is less than 500 apiece, which is essentially making this game dead even.
Yeah, but you gotta realize what this means, right? Dino Riders being able to keep up 3 kills down, 2 towers down, and a dragon and a Dark Slayer down. That means they're just doing a great job farming out of Elser. Bruticus gets caught out.
Oh, I don't think that's where he wants to be. The ultimate will not take you to safety. It only takes you to an enemy. And as a result, yikes is going to be yikes indeed, as he's going to be able to pick up that kill onto Bruticus. 30-second death timer for him. Remember, as it gets later in the game, these death timers become longer. Not too inovercomable at this point. They're only about 30 seconds, but in about 5 minutes, that's going to extend to 45 seconds, which could spell disaster if the right members fall.
And one thing to keep an eye on in these next couple fights is Jordicus, right, on that teamie. The ultimate, being a bro, kind of gives you this countdown where if you die within that timer, you or the lowest ally health that you activate the ultimate together with, one of you will get revived if you die within the timer first. So the idea is if you burst people down so he has to use the ultimate and then you just kind of wait, target someone else, and then finish the job, it doesn't matter. So right here, we're going to see that teammate come right back up, but right back into danger.
That is the difficulty with being a bro, is sometimes you find yourself out and the only bro you can have is yourself, but he ends up going down. Yikes is going to go down as well. That's a double kill going into the hands of Double Spiral, and it is just like that. The Dino Riders push that they had, the little ace that they had on the bottom side of the map proves no matter as One Trick pulls themselves off a 3-for-0.
Yeah, it's the stats are starting to really not tell the story at all for this game with the number of kills, even the gold score and the objectives. But then you look on the side of Dino Riders. How in the world were they keeping up before? I mean, now with one more tower, you see that disparity come through. It's really the pushing they've been doing, but they haven't translated it into another objective.
They don't have a lot of AD, so they can't take this tower down very easily. Meanwhile, Jordicus is going to use that opportunity to pick himself up a kill onto Dual Spirals. He's going to be able to push in on the backside. Here's the mobility of Aerie that we're talking about. It's dash, dash, dash onto Bruticus. They're going to be able to pick themselves up that stun. Max is going to go down, possibly. There we go. There's going to be one more. Oh, no. He's running away. He's using every ounce, every piece of hydraulic in that machine, but it's not going to be enough as the Dino Riders are able to get themselves a little bit of 3-0. The bloodbath continues.
Yeah, Max is pretty durable right now, quite tanky, has a lot of defense stats for both just armor and magic defense, but eventually they get the kill. Aerie has to continue playing this role of chasing people down, given all the split pushing she had the opportunity to do.
And
Valor getting caught out.
Is a little bit out there. Don't think that's where you want to be, buddy. Death timers again building themselves up. Now it's 36 seconds. We have to keep track of these death timers and where they're going, because as we get later, as we get longer, these little skirmishes that are happening, these 3-0s that both of these teams are finding are not going to prove advantageous for them.
And look at that. At one point, Dino Riders only had one tower down. Suddenly, both middle and bottom side lane are just cleared out all the way to the base, looking at that high ground tower next. So Dino Riders right back in the game and actually flipping that lead. 2K at 13 minutes with the number of kills they have. It's not going to matter too much, but it's definitely a lead. It's not like 500 or a K where you can disregard it.
And so now Dino Riders have found themselves a much bigger than the 500 gold lead. It's now a 2,000 gold lead in their favor. While it is only 4-5 towers, they are definitely finding themselves in a much more advantageous position. The struggles of ZK are starting to become a little less worrisome as he's got himself 2 defensive items as well as an offensive item to help himself boot. Duel a little bit better against this Max, and now with the Darkslayer back on the menu, this could be an opportunity. Duel spirals himself, gets caught out, gonna go down very low, and low turns to death as Arid is able to pick up that kill. Now the multiple members of Dino Riders are coming in onto the backside of this, and just like that, it's gonna be a 2 for 0. The double kill, 3 members, no 4 members are down for the side of One Trick.
Yeah, good fight by Dino Riders, and Jordicus being smart, used the ultimate being a bro, and then realized I'm not going to die within the timer, so just gets out of there with extra move speed from Pooty Poot and is able to hide in the bush and go back to base, now trying to join up with the team. Dino Riders, it's like they turned the switch on just to suddenly start pushing and win these fights, and it's playing out the way we said it needed to when we first saw the big man.
And so just like that, with the death timers ticking down, this is going to have to be a really quick effort, though, for the side of Dino Riders, because the members of One Trick are spawning. There's lots of AD and official. Dual Spell is going to try to do everything he can. Jordicus is just going to be able to take that turret, but just like that, the damage, the disaster, the distraught, the Dino Riders walk away with the victory.
Yeah, Dino Riders able to kind of regroup towards that later half of the mid-game and get a couple crucial team fight wins, but that's not exactly how everything started in the early game. Early game, it was a back and forth between both Dino Riders and their opponents in One Trick, and One Trick actually started winning these fights, but look at this, a little bit too much greed here and there, a couple heroes getting caught out. Bruticus was actually on a roll with good ultimates, but then wasn't able to put himself in a position to use them anymore.
The greed of the greed was on both of these teams, but the highest level of greed ended up winning as Dino Riders secure themselves that victory. They did a great job at catching the One Trick members in that final jungle, and then pushed to win, understood the amount of damage that they had despite the lower respawn timers, and walk away with the victory. Again, like much of what we've seen today, it wasn't clean, but it was effective.
And honestly, the hidden hero, I think, for the Dino Riders was the Airy pushing out that bottom lane. Vengeance was just diligent.
MVP.
You see that score line too, 2-1 and 14, but just really diligent. And what it did this time, it wasn't drawing people out to her, but it was that they got 2 towers out of it just on her own, now giving overall map space in the later half of the game. Despite
the fact that it was only 14% of the potential, of the 100% total for damage to heroes, like you said, it was the participation, had 77 participation or kill participation in that match, which is a number that you cannot ignore, especially considering the fact that we had not seen an Airy in the Valor series play just yet.
Yeah, this was more a kind of neutral passive split push where you are just taking the objective. You're not drawing people out. You're not getting 1v1 duels. And One Trick, I think, also maybe disregarded her a little too much. And they were like, hey, if we get Darkslayer, we can probably push to win. They couldn't lock it down.
It was the fact that she also built herself a little tanky,
yes,
allowed her to go in, and it was the hidden threat of, oh no, we need to focus on the Airy, but then they realized, oh, she doesn't really do damage, and it allowed them to go back and forth. But we've got ourselves a nice little replay here. This is where the top side of the map 4K happened in favor of Dino Riders, and it just showed the power that they had at the end of the game.
Yeah, and just try to keep an eye on Jordicus here, right in the center, realizes not gonna die to the Lumberl, and dodges right out of it in the last second. That's the really tricky part about being a bro, but it's okay because the rest of Dino Riders are all above half health. They're able to dive the tower, get the kill. Yikes, also starting to climb back in with the high kills on that Zill jungle.
And so just like that, Dino Riders secure themselves their first win. Your prediction is going in the positive manner. The Dinos are taking over the Ponies. However, One Trick is not out just yet. This is a best of 3 for our third quarterfinal match. So One Trick now taking up the blue side have an opportunity to change things. And to be quite honest, I don't really see a pick that was on the side of Dino Riders that essentially allowed them to go to that victory. It was more of just the gritty execution and the unwavering confidence in those fights that allowed them for that win.
While the teaming didn't change the fights, I think you consider banning it if you're not going to pick it up because you still had to think about it. There's no way that one trick was in the game and not considering teaming. It affects how you play the fights. So something to consider for both teams as they now switch sides and the orders swapped.
So now if you're the side of Dino Riders, are you the ones that ban away that teamie? Obviously, we're getting the ban phase started shortly, or starting right now, rather. Kilgroth being banned away. That's a lot of respect. You got to take that one off the mark. You don't have to worry about it. But do Dino Riders risk giving the teamie away, or do they ban it on their side?
I think if it's not banned by the end, you ban it out on your side if you're the Dino Riders because, again, you also don't want to take that risk. It wasn't the cleanest of games for yourself either, so just get that out of the way. You want a clean 2-0 to feel good going into Saturday.
Us North Americans, we like to scrap. It's definitely been the telltale. Despite the fact that we've had 2 2-0 sweeps, every single game has been a scrap fest.
Yes, that's true. We didn't know until the end, or there were a couple mistakes that extended the fight, extended the game. So we'll see. It does make for an interesting game. The Tulin coming out once again as a ban from the Dino Rider side, despite the side swap.
Again, another massive amount of respect going over into the hands of these mages. The L'Oreal, despite the fact that I don't see it warrant of a ban, did show a lot of power considering the fact that she was able to bob and weave in those fights. Granted, she had the hidden surprise of that Ari to kind of help her out a lot, but you cannot discount Era's performance on that hero.
Yeah, Era at a certain point was just doing so much damage, had the most gold throughout the entire game for the Dino Rider, so one trick might look to pick her up if it's not banned. The Wonder Woman ban coming out again, this time on the blue side, as we did see in Game 1, so now it's one trick banning her out.
Ryoma being banned away by Dino Riders as well, and I really like the fact that teams in North America are deciding to ban away the Wonder Woman, even though there are a lot of powerful heroes on the battlefield that a lot of these teams are deciding. They're also recognizing the fact that Wonder Woman does have a presence in every single game in all of the regions across the world.
And one trick, what I just realized, Teamy and Superman both make it through to that last ban. So one trick decides to ban out the Max, get rid of that factor. Now you're going to get
Superman.
One of Team or Superman.
Ban Superman.
I mean, they should. They should. And then Team One Trick will well, maybe they'll pick up the L'Oreal. I don't know. That's always a tough pick. I would always side with Teamy. Again, utility over damage on that very first pick. But it's going to be a tough choice.
Ooh. I had heart palpitations.
Did they forget? No way. No way they forgot.
I'm gonna drop down at the caster desk. I'm gonna need a sub. Hello.
I can forget, but they can't forget.
No.
This has to be.
Wait, no, you're the analyst. I can forget. You can't forget.
Darn it! I thought we were almost going through with it. But yeah, so. Okay, do they have a plan for it, or are they just saying Teamy's more annoying? I mean, probably annoyance-wise. As cute as they are, Red Panda's a little more annoying than someone who's saving cities all around the world.
Just gonna close my notes. I'm just gonna everything I have is just gonna get sat down. My head's gonna go in my hands, and it's just gonna go. Why not the Superman? Why didn't it happen?
I mean, we'll see.
Okay.
Is there a world? Well, okay. I'm gonna play the interview right now.
Okay.
Is there a world where One Trick doesn't pick up Superman? The ultra mind games come through.
The ultra mind games. We only have one trick. The Max is off the table. I don't know what we're supposed to do.
Oh, yeah. They banned out their own Max. Okay. No, they've got to pick up the Superman. At which point...
I'm smiling on the outside, but I'm crying internally so hard right now.
It's just that we've held a hope every time Superman's gotten through. We're like, okay, maybe someone has a plan. And then we're like, no, nobody has a plan because it's Superman.
It's because it's Superman.
We're like, actually, really, we gotta just trust our brains, right? We're always like, oh, yeah, there's got to be this new counter. Oh, no,
it's just Superman. Well, it's the best part because it's not the recognition of a counter strategy because they really are trying. But it's banging your head against a concrete wall and hoping to break through. It's not going to work, guys.
He does everything. I mean, that we keep saying the same phrase over and over again because there's no other way to put it.
Yeah.
For him, and if you saw, there you go.
What do you know?
What
surprise! A surprise! It's a pizza party, and Superman is here.
Liliana does go through, so that is a very strong pick for Dino Riders, but strong enough to let go of the Superman? I don't know. You know, these are the types of drafts where you have to go back in hindsight and you wonder, was the Ryoma worth it over a Superman?
I would consider both the Tulin and the Ryoma. You can technically give up the Tulin. Looking at the 3 bans that they have, you can give up the Tulin because you're going to be guaranteed to get either Tulin or Liliana. Now, they did get Liliana, a hero that has been banned in almost every single match thus far in both the Europe and the North American brackets. However, look at what you have in the process. Meanwhile, Zelf picks up the Valheim, and I know that every member across the spectrum of the Antares battlefield has a horror story with the Valheim. So you're already building the disaster of Superman plus Valheim plus Violet.
Wow, this is actually pretty interesting. Like you said, individually, they all have their place and they're very strong heroes. It's a bit of an odd combo to see, partly because at least 2 out of 3 of those are always banned. So it's an interesting opportunity. I would be worried if it's a Joker. I mean, you say you have the range and the poke, and you think you have an escape, but when Superman, okay, it's the Joker, I think the Dino Riders are committing a little too hard.
So, okay, looking back, Joker, for all intents and purposes, looking at the composition, you know, it could be able to go into the jungle. So they're matching Marksman in the jungle for Marksman in the jungle.
Yeah.
Sure, you have that effect, but the issue that we face,
Maybe.
apart from the, I'm trying to help them out here. Apart from the kind of split build that you can do out of the Omen, there's not a lot of tanks on the side of Dino Riders, which could work out in their favor. Sure, I don't know. It's Superman, man.
I mean, what I'm starting to see in my head, right, is a fight where Superman dives the backline, right?
Okay.
Liliana's gone. Joker's gone.
Okay.
And then you
I'm
have
tracking.
Lubu, Zephys, and Omen diving the backline.
Yes.
They take care of Valheim. They take care of Violet. But those 3 are at half health. Superman's at full health. 1v3, Superman wins. That's what I'm seeing in my head.
There's no kryptonite available. The Joker's there, but Joker's only a counter to Batman. He's not a counter. Well, there's no Lex Luthor in this game right now. But guys, tell us how you feel about Superman. Tell us how you feel about these. Please tell us anything, everything. Help our sanity. Head over to Twitter and use the hashtag Valor Series because we want to know what you think.
Listen, I'm going to hold hope one more time. The counter for Superman. It's the least expected one where there's no obvious counter. It's just full-on damage yourselves.
All right. Well, I'm not going to talk. He's not going to talk. We're going to get into the game. It's going to be game number 2 of our 3rd quarterfinal of the day. Dino Riders is up 1 over 1 trick, and 1 trick is going to have to pull out a new trick if they want to get themselves evened in this set.
All right, so we see a lot of positioning. I mean, Superman ready to jump in with that shove with the punch, but not going to connect. Takes a little bit of damage, takes a tower hit, but not the end of the world, right? They're just trying to scout it out. They do have freedom to go into the enemy jungle. Dino Riders, will they pick up on this quick enough? Yeah, it looks like it. Joker already starting to move down towards the might buff on 1 trick side.
And so now, again, Superman coming onto the side wave. Now, there does warrant a factor in the mid to late game, Omen potentially having the tanky stats as well as the dueling potential to go up against that Superman, but Superman with the flying mode has that increased movement speed to move on the other side of the map. So there is a little bit of a split push effort if Dino Riders are able to get Vengeance to that level.
Yeah, and you know what else is interesting is everyone has Flicker on the side of Dino Riders, and I think this is kind of their plan on if Superman comes in, we're going to Flicker out and continue to put out damage, reset so that we can get our crowd control. It's only 1 punish, but they're still roaming as a group. So they're committed to these fights where they can dodge Superman. That's a lot of trust in One Thumb's ability to dodge a superhero.
It is indeed. As Dual Spirals is going to find himself, one auto attack away. Oh, whoa, that's going to be a little bit of a ballsy move there by Araday, and he's going to be able to barely survive. Going to try to get himself enough, but it's not going to be enough as Zelf picks up that first kill.
And on the Violet as well, that gives the boost that Violet wants in the jungle, start to build up towards that damage. Violet doesn't need too much to be efficient. Of course, the more you have, the better, but it's only a couple core items and not the most expensive ones, and Violet's able to dish out a lot of damage.
And so now just over the 2-minute mark, we haven't talked too much about Valor on that Crest. Crest providing the peel for his team, which could be well and handy considering the fact that they have the double marksman onto their backline with Zelf and dual spirals. As now Abyssal Dragon has been angered. He's lurking around his cave saying, get out, I want to just take myself a nap. But the members of both Dino Riders and One Trick are not going to allow that to happen. ZK is going to anger the Abyssal Dragon. Dude, he just wants to take a nap. He wants to go back in his cave. He wants to hang out. Meanwhile, on the top side, Bruticus and Vengeance are going to be off. And there we are. Now we're starting to see ourselves in a little bit of a take. But just as I say that, Abyssal Dragon's going to get angry one more time, and One Trick's going to walk away. Yeah, they're still just positioning. I mean, both of them aware of the enemy team being in the area, but neither of them ready to commit. The other interesting thing here is, can Omen actually keep Superman in check in that top side lane? Actually, Dino Riders kind of fakes that back, and then they steal that Abyssal Dragon right under the nose of One Trick, and they'll get out safely as well. Hey, you can defeat Superman if he's nowhere near your side of the map. That is the best counter to Superman. As long as he's not with you, then good things are bound to happen. But meanwhile, he's going to find himself into the middle of the map, get himself a nice little laser beam onto Araday, but Araday's going to walk back safely over to his tower. All right, so still just a little bit of positioning. Gold's about even thanks to the kill on the side of One Trick, and then, of course, the Abyssal Dragon on the side of Dino Riders. Everyone, in terms of level, pretty much keeping up with each other. Always Green a little behind, actually, now that I'm looking at it. The roam really taking a toll on Always Green. Still doesn't have that ultimate charmer. We'll get it soon, but they're gonna need that if they want to stay in the fight, and it's gonna help Bruticus a lot as well, as actually Brutus gets taken down in that top side lane. Always Green doing a good little juke through the bushes. Just because he's a big elephant doesn't mean he's a nice and little swift in a way, as he gets himself off to safety. As now dual spirals again. We haven't really talked too much about this Valheim and what he's able to provide for the team, and it's only going to be a fact if him and Zelf are going to be able to stay on that backline. Yeah, but who's going to be there with him? I mean, I guess to crush. That's the thing. Now, you know, the One Trick team's composition, they kind of have to split themselves, and normally that's okay with the Superman. But it really depends on how Dino Riders reacts as well, because they have a pretty aggressive comp. Look at this, they're jumping onto Bruticus, and he gets locked in by that Omen. That's how you keep a Superman in check. If he can't go anywhere, he's not going to be flying all about. Indeed, they're able to get themselves a nice little gank, juggling the tower aggro well as well. And now Always Green is going to have to be forced to heal himself up. ZK is trying to get himself a nice little piece of the damage. And this is the struggle that you find with these double marksman compositions. They've got lots of damage, but they don't have the lockup and the ability to stop the enemy onslaught. Yeah, so One Trick starting to see a little bit of a flaw in their plan. Omen really keeping on top of Superman. And so now it looks like it's going to come down to Vengeance. Can Vengeance keep Superman in check? Either win those 1v1s or make sure Bruticus isn't going anywhere. So far, so good. And I like the effort as well for Omen to just do his best to take down that tower, to continue to push that. They're employing the strategy of the make sure that Vengeance is at top at all times to continue to push. So if Superman rotates down, he's going to be able to secure himself a turret. Now, One Trick and Dino Riders are fighting over the second Abyssal Dragon. Yikes is going to be able to go down. Dual Spirals picking up that kill. Now, Bruticus joins the fray. Here comes Superman, going to be able to jump up, get himself a double knockup. Meanwhile, that's going to be the members of One Trick forcing the disengage out of Dino Riders. Only one member went down, but a blue defense tower in favor of Dino Riders. Yeah, so Dino Riders doing what they can to get the advantages they need. One Trick is pretty low, but Bruticus is still there, so it doesn't look like Dino Riders will re-engage. I mean, this was the type of fight that Bruticus wanted for that Superman, right? Jump onto two people, not being bothered by anyone. Oh, Dino Riders comes back just in time. Can they get the dragon? Oh, Araday picks up the Abyssal Dragon! That's going to be the second. The health bars of One Trick are way too low, so they're not going to be able to engage. Meanwhile, Bruticus is going to have to go up because another tower has been taken by Dino Riders. This might be that silver lining, the hope we've been wanting to see jump against the Superman. Make sure that Superman pays every time he leaves the lane. And now, you see One Trick, they're kind of all over the place. They don't know how to recover. The pressure's been kept on for the past full minute. And it's around every piece of the map. You've got top, you've got bot, you've got dragon. Every member of Dino Riders is making steps with a purpose, and as a result, it has them 4 towers at the 7-minute mark. All right, now that they've cleared out pretty much the entire enemy side. Uh-oh, Bruticus kind of left alone under the tower. He's already at half health. Not necessarily where he wants to be. Superman is going to be super dead if he's not careful. Dual Spirals and the rest aggressive team. Bear runs the ultimate with the crest to try to get himself onto the front line of the map. Always Green is trying to get himself in a better advantageous position as well. They're going to clear the waves. They're going to force the disengage. But no, Valor once more. Yikes is going to dodge and weave in and out. The stun's going to come out from dual spirals, but it's not going to be enough. Another disengage, and there we go. It's going to be the Joker picking himself up a kill.
Yeah, Valheim, dual spirals on Valheim, really wanted to get that kill. Was a good attempt at finishing it off, but forgot that Joker was right next to the Lu-Bu. So ZK dies, but gives the kill over to Jordicus. I think Dino Riders is onto something. They're putting on the pressure so much. All the towers are almost gone in the field.
Superman's presence is unparalleled. No one can fight in the fights and roam the way that Superman can. But what can Superman not do? Be in multiple places at once. And as a result, Dino Riders is continuing this pressure. We're at 8 minutes into the game. Both inner turrets on the top and bottom side of the map have been decimated. Now the high ground turrets run that risk. And so with the farm and the items, the very quick damage rush that you have coming out of Vengeance, if they leave him alone, they're going to lose all of their base.
Yeah, and everyone on Dino Riders is a level or two above their counterparts. So they're really keeping up with the Abyssal Dragons that they've been able to take. And look at this, Dino Riders once again putting in the pressure. Bruticus comes in for the side though.
He's trying to get himself a little bit of extra stuns. You've got Valor as well. Dual Spirals picks up that kill onto Jordicus' Joker, so he's going to be low. Now, Vengeance fail flashes himself over the wall. It's not going to be exactly where he wants. Zelf picks up the kill onto the members, and now you've got 2 members of Dino Riders down.
Right when we had hope. Right when we had hope. Bruticus comes in, slams everyone down, and everyone says, oh, geez, there's my health bar at only 1/3 of what it used to be. Dino Riders, though, they didn't give up. They kept kind of dancing around the side. And what I like from all of them is even when we saw that fight in the bottom lane, is that they don't give up. They might have a little health left, but they know the utility they have. All of their heroes actually have so much mobility that they can jump in, get one more skill down, get one more ability down for crowd control, one more burst down coming out of Aerodate, and then they can see if they can come out with a win.
So, One Trick secures themselves a little bit of a helpful kills back into their pocket, but Abyssal Dragon number 3 goes into the pockets of Dino Riders uncontested. Coming up on the 10-minute mark, you have a 5,500 gold lead in the favor of Dino Riders, and this is where things are going to start to get scary, because as you come yourself up onto these 3-item spikes, Dino Riders' damage output is going to be quite high.
Yeah, and with Bruticus right now on Superman, does have that Gaia standard, and that's going to give him some regenerate and a lot of magic defense, but the armor not quite there yet, building towards it, does have that Spirit Bond ready, or the Knight's Plate, rather, with the Spirit Band passive, of course, and they're going to be able to complete the Grease of Protection, so Bruticus is starting to come back in. They're starting to ramp up towards the items they need to survive. The thing is the way Dino Riders have been playing it, the Warriors have been taking turns going at it against Superman, so it is a kind of round-robin 3v1.
It's the game of drawing straws. Who gets to get Superman today? But instead, it's who's going to get crushed right now, as he's going to be forced to ultimate down. But 4 members of the side of Dino Riders are going to be sitting on his face. Always Green's going to try to go into the back line to get himself a little bit of a peel. Dual Spiral is going to auto-attack his way to victory and secure that kill onto Vengeance. Now, Jordicus being able to pick up that kill as the rebuttal. It's 1-for-1. You've got Bruticus coming into the side, and here comes Superman. He's going to get himself a knockout, which will lose the flying mode, so he's not going to be in the advantageous position that he wanted. Jordicus picks up that kill. Great job to stack the CC that they want. And now, with 3 members down of One Trick, it looks like there's a potential for the high ground turret on the menu.
Only 1 kill is a darn shame for One Trick in that fight, because it started really well. Valor's so tanky in that ultimate with that Metamorphosis coming through. And Valor really just relying on the Hercules Madness only as kind of a finished item, and still able to survive so much damage because of all the shield coming through. And yet, One Trick didn't have the damage nor the focus fire to go through, but Always Green trying to come in with the steal, doesn't get it.
Not going to be an evergreen Mammoth, as he's going to have to be forced to walk away. Has just enough tanky stats to get himself done and away. However, it's going to be the Dark Slayer, as well as it looks like another Abyssal Dragon into the hands of the Dino Riders.
Yeah, there's so much commitment on the side of One Trick's composition and what they've taken in terms of items and talents to make sure that they stay alive, right? You have the Chognar with that immunity to the crowd control effects. You also have the Purify on top of that for Bruticus. And of course, you have the Gilded Greaves coming in. But that's not enough, because it's not just the crowd control that Dino Riders has. It's a lot of mobility for every one of their heroes to stick onto one target and one target only.
And so now You've got an 8,000 gold lead into the favor of Dino Riders. I like the effort of grouping themselves up a little bit closer together, despite the fact that Vengeance has done a great job at the split push thus far, because they recognize that they need to get themselves to the backline. The lockdown and the zoning that Vengeance can provide on that Omen is a very valuable tool in their team fights, and so they're going to group themselves up. 3 members, make that 4 members near the mid. You're going to have a little bit of a jungle happening there from Jordicus, and again, we haven't had a chance to go over the fact of this Joker pick. Joker not as contested or picked of a hero thus far on the Antares battlefield for the Valor series, but sitting at 4-1-0 is quite the amicable KD.
Yeah, Aridade not able to recover yet. Oh, another burst. I was just about to say, you got to watch out for the poke coming in from the Violet.
And so they're going to be forced to get themselves off and away, but it doesn't matter because the high ground turret is going to go down. They're not going to have the tower defense, but what are they going to lose in the process? A great effort there by Yikes to recognize, hey, look, we're not going to be able to win this match, so we need to get ourselves gone and away. So he's going to distract the members of One Trick, while Bruticus is going to go down to a very powerful Jordicus. Is now Vengeance, ZK, as well as Jordicus are going to be alive. Zelf and Vare are the only ones left remaining, and so they're going to get themselves rotated around. They don't have a minion wave to secure that middle high ground turret, but they're able to get the bot in the process.
Man, that combo from Vengeance and Jordicus was nasty. Vengeance coming in with Fafnir's Talon, and then Jordicus finishing it with Fenrir's Tooth. That's the combination of those items you want to see, but that's across 2 members, one with the melee to whittle them down, and then Jordicus comes out with the burst towards the later half.
As now 10,000 gold separates the Dino Riders and One Trick. It wasn't the cleanest of efforts in game number 1. The scrappy North American mentality that we've seen as a consistent trend, both in weeks 1 and 2. While that still is the case here for the Dino Riders, they're executing their team fights properly.
Yeah, and you know, some of these later half fights seemed a little messy, but you look at the numbers and they do not lie. They're ahead in kills, not by much, but 10k gold lead and not a single objective for One Trick. No dragons, they don't have any towers, and they definitely do not have a dark side. And look at this, all the towers are full health too. They never touched it. That's really rough.
The triple goose egg in the scoreboard is not the most appealing of sights if you're One Trick. You're going to go back and look at these VODs and, you know, hands on your head, not understanding what it is that you need to do. And again, it's just through this cross-map pressure and execution that the Dino Riders have employed thus far.
But here you saw once again, Jordicus took a little bit of a beating to the Violet over the wall. You have to watch out. Violet can take you down, whittle you down with a single shot with that tactical maneuver, and you gotta watch out, because if you get poked down, Bruticus can still come in and burst, you know, 2-3 people down at half health all at once together.
So now a great 4-1 split coming out of One Trick. They know that if all 5 members of One Trick decide to collapse onto this Dino Rider squad, that's going to be an immediate disaster in this bot side. And you can see it just that. Look, they're fighting on the side, but Vengeance is going to be trying to see him get himself a backdoor. It's going to be just enough of a stall. He's going to get himself stunned down. There isn't any minions available, but he's going to take it. Vengeance is going to secure the victory. Dino Riders with the win.
Oh my gosh, One Trick, you gotta feel for him. I mean, they were doing their best. They thought they had something, and now for a second I was a little afraid of that Yikes dive over the wall, but that's exactly what it was. Like you said, a distraction for Vengeance to do the job that Omen was meant to do.
And just like that, the Dino Riders, they let the Superman go through. They pick the winning strategy, and it comes down to the wire. As just like that, my heart's beating now.